Dia dich agus fáilte. Hello agus fáilte. Hello and welcome. My name is Paula de Fougerolles. I'm an early medieval historian and author, specializing in the early medieval period. I've had a lifelong interest in the early history of Ireland and Scotland and have taught and published in the field. And I'm currently working on a series of historical fiction novels based on the life of Columcille, or St. Columba, who was an abbot, prince, and statesman who lived in the 6th century and was born in Donegal. Though he lived 1500 years ago, his life still has great meaning for us today because he was a man who literally changed the world. So why Columcille? Why write 8 books about his life? What is it about him that still inspires us today? Because to be honest, the 6th century was a long time ago. It's unlike any of our traditional images of the medieval world. It's an entirely different country. The Roman Empire had collapsed, leaving a vacuum of power and chaos in its wake, and barbarian invasions are sweeping across Europe. Civilization is holding on by a thread. It's a world poised between myth and history. And by the 6th century, the peoples who were living in Ireland and in Britain were speaking at least 4 different languages and were worshiping their gods in at least 4 different ways. And there are also innumerable kingdoms, some small, some great, and they're all competing violently for preeminence and power. Pandemic was raging as well, the Justinian plague, the bubonic plague. It wiped out between 35 and 50% of the population. So that's 1 in every 2 or 3 people you know gone. Nevertheless, the people living on the shores of the North Channel, that is between the north of Ireland and Argyll and Scotland, had much in common. They shared a language. They speak a primitive Irish, which in this period was evolving into Old Irish. They share a material culture, a history, an ideology. We should think of them, in fact, as a maritime province, with the sea between them being not a border, but a highway. So one of the peoples knitting these communities together was Columcille. Now, I had been studying the early medieval period for a long time before I ever knew he existed. And then one serendipitous day, when I was in a secondhand bookshop in Cambridge, I stumbled across this book, which is A Life of St. Columba, or the Vita Sancti Columbae, written by Adovnan, who was Columcille's kinsman and the 9th abbot of Iona, and he lived about 100 years after Columcille did. In this book, Columcille just leaps off the page, a living and breathing person. He's arrogant and uncompromising, but he's also terribly compassionate and caring. And you get the sense that he was somebody both extraordinary and somebody that you could know. And then when you dig a little deeper and you realize that in partnership and friendship with a man called Aidan McGavran, or Aidan McGabran, who became king of the Scots of Dalriada in Argyll, that in partnership with him, Columcille went on to bring the north and west of Ireland into a golden age and to help found Scotland, then you think to yourself, or at least I did, this is a man who needs to be much better known. So that's what I've set out to do.